The mortar round screamed overhead like a banshee from hell, and I pressed my face into the black volcanic sand of Iwo Jima, tasting sulfur and death. February 23, 1945, 0347 hours, and I was about to die on this godforsaken 8-square-mile chunk of rock in the middle of the Pacific. The explosion shattered the pre-dawn darkness 50 yards to my left, sending chunks of coral and human remains raining down on my helmet. Through the ringing in my ears, I heard the voice that would haunt my dreams for decades. Corpsman. My name is John Brad Lee, Hospital Corpsman 2nd Class, United States Navy, assigned to Easy Company, 2nd Battalion, 28th Marines, 5th Marine Division. I'm 21 years old, from Antigo, Wisconsin, and in 4 days I'll help raise a flag on Mount Suribachi that will become the most famous photograph in American military history. But right now, crawling through this hellscape toward a wounded Marine, I'm just trying to keep another boy from bleeding to death on the shores of a Japanese island that most Americans can't even pronounce. The sulfur smell is everywhere. It seeps from the ground, mingles with cordite smoke, and combines with the metallic stench of blood to create an atmosphere that belongs more in Dante's Inferno than on Earth. The Japanese have had 8 months to prepare for our arrival, and they've used every minute. Admiral Chester Nimitz himself said this would take 5 days. It's been 4 already, and we've barely scratched the surface of their defenses. Over here, Doc. The voice belongs to Private First Class James Michels from Detroit, a kid who still talks about his girl back home like she's the Virgin Mary herself. I can see him now, 40 yards away, dragged behind a jagged outcrop of coral by his squad leader. Half his left leg is gone, and the dark stain spreading across the volcanic sand tells me I've got maybe minutes to save his life. I sprint across the open ground in a crouch, my medical bag bouncing against my hip, expecting at any second to feel the punch of a sniper's bullet or the hot shrapnel from another mortar round. The Japanese are dug in everywhere, in caves, bunkers, tunnels, spider holes. They've turned this entire island into a fortress, and they're fighting like cornered animals. Hang on, Michels, I whisper as I slide in beside him, already reaching for my morphine syrette. His eyes are wide with shock, pupils dilated, skin gray and clammy. Classic signs of shock from massive blood loss. I tie off the tourniquet high on his thigh, tight enough to stop the bleeding, loose enough to save what's left of his leg. The morphine goes in his shoulder, and I watch his face relax slightly as the drug takes hold. But even as I work, my mind drifts to something else, someone else, that's been sustaining me through this nightmare. Her name is Lieutenant Florence McDonald, and she's a Navy nurse aboard the hospital ship USS Samaritan, anchored 12 miles offshore. I've never met her face to face, but I've been hearing her voice over the radio for the past 4 days, talking wounded Marines through their transport from beach to ship, coordinating care, making sure no one gets forgotten in the chaos. She's never fired a shot, never charged a beach, never even set foot on Iwo Jima. But she's saving more lives than any rifleman in my company. The build-up to this hell began months ago, though we didn't know it at the time. The scuttlebutt started in December 1944, when our division was pulled back to Hawaii for what they called intensive amphibious training. We knew something big was coming. You don't pull an entire Marine division out of combat for training exercises unless you're planning something that makes everything before look like a warm-up. The briefing started in January. Operation Detachment, they called it. Target, Iwo Jima, a volcanic island 650 miles south of Tokyo. Strategic importance, 3 airfields that the Japanese were using to intercept our B-29 superfortresses bombing the Japanese mainland. Our job, take the island, secure the airfields, give our bombers a safe haven on their way to and from Japan. Gentlemen, Colonel Harry Liversedge told us during the final briefing aboard the USS Missoula on February 16th, this will be the toughest fight in Marine Corps history. The Japanese have had 8 months to dig in. Intelligence estimates between 13 and 14,000 enemy defenders, commanded by Lieutenant General Tomichi Kuribayashi, one of their best. I remember looking around at the faces of Easy Company, boys, really, most of them not old enough to vote, and wondering how many would be coming home. The Navy had promised us 3 days of preliminary bombardment, the heaviest in Pacific War history. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and carrier aircraft would pummel the island before we set foot on the beach. It wasn't nearly enough. The bombardment began on February 16th. And even from 20 miles away, we could see the island disappear under clouds of smoke and dust. For 3 days, the Navy pounded Iwo Jima with everything they had. 16-inch guns from the battleships Nevada, New York, and Texas. 8-inch guns from cruisers. 5-inch guns from destroyers. Wave after wave of Navy and Marine fighter bombers dropping 1,000-pound bombs and napalm. "Look at that," said Corporal Charles Lindbergh, my foxhole partner from Minnesota. "Ain't gonna be nothing left of them Japs but grease spots." But Lieutenant General Kuribayashi was smarter than we gave him credit for. Instead of building defenses on the beaches where our naval gunfire could destroy them, he'd pulled his forces inland and underground. Miles of tunnels connected hundreds of fortified positions. Concrete bunkers with walls 6 feet thick. Artillery pieces in caves that could fire and then disappear before our counter-battery fire could locate them. The island was a fortress, and we were about to walk into the most elaborate trap in military history. D-Day was February 19, 1945. H-hour 0900. I went over the side of the Missoula at 0730, climbing down cargonets into the Higgins boats that would take us to the beach. The sea was rough, 4-foot swells that made half the Marines seasick before we even started the run to shore. I wasn't sick, but my stomach was tied in knots anyway. 4 years of war had taught me to trust my instincts, and every instinct I had was screaming that this was going to be bad. The beach was designated Yellow 1 on the southeastern shore of the island, directly below Mount Suribachi. As we got closer, I could see the mountain looming above us, 556 feet of volcanic rock, honeycombed with caves and gun positions. The Japanese had turned it into an artillery observation post with perfect views of both beach areas. 30 seconds. The coxswain shouted over the engine noise. I checked my gear one more time. M1 carbine with 6 magazines. Medical bag with morphine syrettes, battle dressings, sulfur powder, tourniquets. K-bar fighting knife. 2 canteens. K rations for 3 days. Radio for calling and medical evacuations. The boat ground against the beach at 0902 and the ramp dropped. Move it, Marines, Sergeant Mike Strank shouted, and we poured out into knee-deep water, stumbling toward the black sand beach under the weight of our equipment. The first few minutes were eerily quiet. No machine gun fire, no mortars, no artillery. Just the sound of Marines cursing as they struggled through the loose volcanic sand that seemed designed to swallow men and equipment. The sand was so soft that vehicles couldn't get traction, and men sank to their ankles with every step. "This ain't so bad," someone said, and that's when all hell broke loose. The Japanese had waited until the beach was packed with Marines and equipment before opening fire. Machine guns opened up from concealed positions on Mount Suribachi and from the high ground inland. Mortars began falling like deadly rain. Artillery shells from hidden guns in the interior of the island screamed overhead and exploded among Thailandian craft still bringing men and supplies to shore. I hit the sand and stayed there for what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes. Around me, Marines were screaming, cursing, dying. The air filled with the whine of bullets, the crash of explosions, the acrid smell of gunpowder and burning fuel. Corpsman up front. The call that defined my war, the call that would follow me home to Wisconsin and wake me up in cold sweats for decades. I grabbed my bag and crawled toward the sound, staying as low as I could, using shell craters and scattered equipment for cover. Private Robert Leader from Tennessee had taken shrapnel in the chest from a mortar round. Pink foam bubbled from his mouth, lung puncture. I rolled him on his wounded side to let the good lung work, gave him morphine, and slapped a battle dressing over the sucking chest wound. He was conscious, scared, trying to talk. "Am I gonna make it, Doc?" "You're gonna be fine, Leader. We'll get you out of here." I keyed my radio and called for evacuation. Any station, this is Easy Company Corpsman. I need immediate evac for one Marine, sucking chest wound, coordinates. The voice that answered wasn't the usual gruff Navy radio man I'd been expecting. It was female, calm, professional, with just a hint of Southern accent. "Easy Company Corpsman, this is Lieutenant McDonald aboard Samaritan. We copy your request. Evac team is en route to your position. What's the patient's condition?" For a moment, I was too surprised to answer. A woman's voice, here in this hell. It shouldn't have mattered, but somehow it did. It reminded me that there was still a world beyond this beach, still people who weren't trying to kill each other. "Patient is conscious, alert, sucking chest, wound sealed, morphine administered. Pulse weak but steady, copy that. Evac team will be there in 10 minutes. Keep him on his wounded side, monitor for shock symptoms." "You're doing fine, Corpsman." 10 minutes later, a Navy stretcher team appeared through the smoke and confusion, moving in a crouch toward our position. They loaded Leader onto a stretcher and disappeared back toward the beach, where landing craft were ferrying wounded Marines out to the hospital ships waiting offshore. I never saw Leader again, but 6 months later I got a letter from him in a Navy hospital in California. He'd made it. The lung had healed, and he was going home to Tennessee. That was the first of hundreds of Marines I'd treat over the next 5 weeks, and Lieutenant McDonald's voice became my lifeline to sanity. Every time I called for evacuation, she was there. Every time I needed medical advice, she had it. Every time I felt like I was drowning in blood and death, her voice reminded me that someone was keeping score, making sure no one was forgotten. The Battle for Iwo Jima was unlike anything the Marine Corps had ever experienced. Previous island campaigns had been decided in days. Tarawa took 4 days. Saipan took 3 weeks. But Iwo Jima stretched on for 5 weeks of continuous, brutal fighting. The Japanese weren't trying to stop us at the beaches. They were trying to bleed us white. Every yard was contested. Every cave had to be cleared with flamethrowers and explosives. Every bunker had to be reduced by direct assault. And for every Japanese soldier we killed, it seemed like 2 more appeared from hidden tunnels and spider holes. By February 23rd, we'd been fighting for 4 days and had advanced less than half a mile inland. The casualties were staggering. Easy Company had started with 230 Marines and was down to fewer than 150. I'd treated over 40 wounded, and I was beginning to think we'd all die on this godforsaken island. That's when Lieutenant Colonel Chandler Johnson decided we needed to take Mount Suribachi. "The Japs are using that mountain as an observation post," he told us during the briefing. "Every time we move, they can see us and call in artillery. We take Suribachi, we blind them." Easy Company, along with Fox Company, was selected for the assault. The plan was simple in concept, terrifying in execution. Climb 556 feet of volcanic rock while Japanese soldiers in caves and bunkers tried to kill us with everything they had. We jumped off at 0800 on February 23rd. The climb was hell, loose rock, hidden mines, snipers, and machine gun nests every few yards. But the Japanese were running low on ammunition after 4 days of continuous combat, and their fire wasn't as heavy as it could have been. I stayed with the assault teams, treating wounded Marines as we climbed. Sergeant Henry Hansen took a bullet through the shoulder, but refused evacuation. Corporal Harlan Block got hit by shrapnel from a grenade, but kept moving. Private First Class Ira Hayes, a Pima Indian from Arizona, seemed to have a charmed life. Bullets passed through his equipment, but never touched his skin. By 1,000 hours, we'd reached the summit. The crater was empty except for a few abandoned positions and the sulfur vents that gave the island its distinctive smell. Sergeant Mike Strank found a piece of Japanese pipe, about 20 feet long, and Lieutenant Johnson produced a small American flag he'd been carrying since the landing. "Let's put this up," Johnson said. 6 Marines gathered around the makeshift flagpole: Sergeant Strank, Corporal Block, Sergeant Hanson, Private First Class Hayes, Private First Class Frank Lynn Sousley from Kentucky, and me. We raised that flag at 10:20 hours on February 23, 1945, and for a moment, the entire island seemed to pause and watch. The cheers from the Marines below were audible even over the sound of gunfire. Ships offshore began blowing their horns. For a few minutes, it felt like we might actually win this thing. But Johnson wasn't satisfied with the small flag. "It's not big enough," he said. "Every Marine on this island should be able to see it." He sent runners back to the beach to find a larger flag, and at 1500 hours, 6 Marines raised a second, larger flag in the same spot. Associated Press photographer Joe Rosenthal captured that second flag raising in what would become the most famous photograph of World War II. I wasn't in that second photograph. I'd been called away to treat wounded Marines in the crater, but I was there for the first raising, and I was part of what that flag represented, the first piece of Japanese home territory to fall to American forces since the war began. The flag didn't end the battle. We still had 4 more weeks of fighting ahead of us, 4 more weeks of caves and bunkers and hidden mines. But it gave us something we'd been lacking: hope. The fighting after Suribachi was, if anything, more brutal than before. The Japanese had pulled back into the northern part of the island, into a maze of fortified positions they called the meat grinder, and they weren't wrong. Hill 362A, Hill 382, Turkey Knob, every piece of high ground was a fortress, every advance measured in yards and paid for in blood. I lost count of the Marines I treated. Burns from flamethrowers that misfired. Shrapnel wounds from mortars and artillery. Gunshot wounds from snipers who seemed to be everywhere and nowhere. Heat exhaustion from fighting in 90-degree heat while wearing full equipment. Combat fatigue from weeks of continuous stress and terror, but through it all, Lieutenant McDonald's voice was there on the radio, calm and professional, coordinating the evacuation of wounded Marines to the hospital ships offshore. I began to think of her as an angel, someone watching over us from above, making sure no one was forgotten in the chaos. "Easy Company Corpsman, this is Lieutenant McDonald. We've got your latest evac inbound. How are you holding up down there?" It was March 15th, 3 weeks into the battle. Easy Company was down to fewer than 50 Marines, and I was running on pure adrenaline and willpower. We'd been fighting for caves and bunkers on Hill 362A for 6 days, and it felt like we were beating our heads against a concrete wall. "We're still here, Lieutenant. Tired, but still here. I know it's hard, Corpsman, but you're saving lives. Every Marine you treat, every man you get off that island, that's someone's son, someone's husband, someone's father going home. Don't forget that." I needed to hear that. After 3 weeks of blood and death, it was easy to forget why we were there, easy to think of the wounded Marines as just another casualty report. Lieutenant McDonald reminded me that each of them was a person with people back home who loved them and were praying for their safe return. The Japanese finally began surrendering in large numbers during the last week of March. Not because they were beaten, they were still fighting with the same fanatical determination they'd shown since February 19th, but because they'd run out of ammunition, food, and water. Even then, many chose death over surrender, detonating grenades rather than be taken prisoner. Lieutenant General Kuribayashi was killed on March 26th in a final banzai charge near the northern tip of the island. With him died the last organized Japanese resistance on Iwo Jima, though individual soldiers would continue hiding in caves and launching suicide attacks for months afterward. The final casualty count was staggering. Of the approximately 22,000 Japanese defenders on the island, only 216 were taken prisoner. The rest fought to the death. American casualties were equally horrific: 6,821 killed and 19,217 wounded out of the 70,000 Marines and Navy personnel who participated in the operation. Easy Company had started the battle with 230 Marines. By the end, only 27 were still standing and able to fight. I was evacuated to the Samaritan on March 28th with a shrapnel wound in my left shoulder, nothing serious, but enough to get me off the island for treatment. As the landing craft pulled away from the beach, I looked back at Iwo Jima one last time. The flag was still flying on Mount Suribachi, and the airfields were already being repaired to receive damaged B-29s returning from bombing runs over Japan. But the cost. 8 square miles of volcanic rock and sand, purchased with the blood of nearly 30,000 American and Japanese soldiers. An entire generation of young men fed into the meat grinder of war. Aboard the Samaritan, I finally met Lieutenant Florence McDonald face to face. She was smaller than I'd imagined, maybe 5 feet 4 inches, with auburn hair and green eyes that had seen too much suffering. But her voice was the same calm, professional tone that had guided me through 5 weeks of hell. "Corpsman Brad Lee," she said, extending her hand. "It's good to finally meet you in person. Thank you, Lieutenant, for everything. You probably don't realize how much your voice meant to us down there." She smiled, but it was a tired smile. I lost count of how many Marines came through this ship. Over 3,000 wounded, and that's just on the Samaritan. There were 5 other hospital ships, plus the transport vessels. She led me through the ship's medical facilities, operating rooms where Navy surgeons worked around the clock, recovery wards filled with wounded Marines, a morgue where the bodies of those who couldn't be saved waited for transport home. The ship was a floating city of healing, staffed by doctors and nurses who fought their own kind of war against death and suffering. "The newspapers back home are calling it a great victory," Lieutenant McDonald said as we stood on the ship's fantail, watching Iwo Jima fade into the distance. "They're talking about how we showed the Japanese that they can't stop us, how we're one step closer to invading Japan itself. And what do you think?" She was quiet for a long moment, watching the wake of the ship spread out behind us. "I think we won, but I'm not sure it was worth the price. 3,000 wounded Marines just on this ship alone. How many more on the other ships? How many didn't make it off the island at all?" I didn't have an answer for that. I still don't, 78 years later. But I'll tell you what I learned on Iwo Jima, what Lieutenant Florence McDonald and thousands of other Navy nurses taught me. There are different kinds of courage. There's the courage of Marines charging machine gun nests and clearing caves with flamethrowers. That's the courage that wins battles and captures headlines. But there's also the courage of standing over an operating table for 18 hours straight, trying to save the life of a Marine whose name you don't even know. The courage of holding the hand of a dying soldier and telling him he's going to be okay, even when you know he isn't. The courage of coordinating medical evacuations by radio while Japanese artillery falls around the landing zones. Lieutenant McDonald never fired a shot on Iwo Jima. She never charged a beach or cleared a bunker or raised a flag on a mountaintop. But she saved more lives than any rifleman in the Pacific Theater, and she did it with nothing but skill, determination, and compassion. The flag raising on Mount Suribachi became the symbol of American victory in the Pacific, 6 Marines raising the stars and stripes on a conquered mountaintop. But that photograph doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't show the Navy nurses working in the hospital ships offshore, saving the lives of Marines who would otherwise have died far from home. It doesn't show the sacrifice of men like Private Leader, who took shrapnel in the chest and lived to see Tennessee again because someone cared enough to get him off that beach. The battle for Iwo Jima was supposed to last 5 days. It took 36. It was supposed to cost 15,000 casualties. It cost nearly 30,000. But it achieved its objective. The airfields were secured, and for the remainder of the war, damaged B-29s had a safe haven on their way to and from bombing runs over Japan. Over 2,400 B-29 crewmen made emergency landings on Iwo Jima before the war ended, and every one of them owed his life to the Marines and sailors who died taking that island. Was it worth it? I've spent 78 years thinking about that question, and I still don't have a good answer. But I know this: Lieutenant Florence McDonald and the thousands of other Navy nurses, doctors, and corpsmen who served in the Pacific Theater represent the best of what America can be. They didn't fight for glory or headlines or medals. They fought for the simple principle that every life has value, that no one should die alone and forgotten on a foreign shore. That's the real victory of Iwo Jima, not the flag on the mountain, but the fact that we never forgot who we were fighting for. In the end, that's what separated us from our enemies. They fought for an empire and an emperor. We fought for each other. And sometimes that's enough.